today what we're going to do is, this particular topic, the turning point, we're going to dissect it. When we dissect it, when we discuss it, we can actually go to the deeper aspect of that topic and actually access powerful wisdom. So I want to show you a picture. So if we go to the next picture. So this is a picture, next one. So this is me in Africa. This is in Rwanda. We were staying in a Sikh temple and they were hosting us. So there you'll see all these students. So in Africa there's a place called Kisumu. You guys heard of Kisumu? Yes. It's in Nairobi, right? It's in a small town. And there we were actually working in a school where the students, the kids, were either orphanage or they were street kids. Okay? And there they get shelter, food, education, everything. Specifically, they were talking about a specific book called, take a wild guess. Next one, next slide.
Start with why.
No, not quite, because he was a president. The Bhagavad Gita. Okay? So Bhagavad Gita, it is a really powerful book. Every time I read the Gita, I access some new wisdom and knowledge that I did not get before. It is a very dynamic book. Don't think that just by reading it once, you know it all. It doesn't work like that. It is a very mystical book. The way it explains is that when you read the Gita, you've elevated your understanding and consciousness to the next level. When you're actually at that level, now you're receptive to understand more deeper aspect of the Gita. This enables you to actually elevate your consciousness further. This gives you access to deeper concept. Does that make sense? So it's always exponentially increasing the wisdom. So Gita is a very powerful book, and I learned many lessons from this book. You know, and one of the key lessons of the Bhagavad Gita was, actually I like to share certain lessons I learned from the Gita. Is that okay? So we'll make it quite practical and interactive, and then we'll see how it goes. Okay, so the first lesson I learned of the Gita is, does anyone know what this word says? Mediocre, right? What does that mean? Average. Who wants to live a mediocre life? Put your hand up. Okay, we don't. How many of us do you think we're living a mediocre life? We do, right? So it's interesting because mediocre life, you don't want to live like that. Get out of it because you're missing out. So it's interesting. Gita teaches us that don't live a mediocre life, because when you do, you miss out a great opportunity. But by applying spiritual wisdom, guess what happens? You actually added value to. So, second lesson, can I share with you the second lesson? Yes? So I need, for this one, I need a volunteer, please. Yes. Ujala, okay. So can we get around close to Ujala? What do you think this represents? Relationships, right? So sometimes we invest so much time and energy in relationship, but what we end up finding is that the very person that's supposed to give us a lot of happiness, generally they're the ones who give us the most misery. Is that true? Yeah. Okay. So let's continue. Wait. Say stop. No? Yeah, no worries, part of the fact. Was that your part? Obviously no. What do you think this represents? Money, wealth. They think maybe this is what happiness is, you know, money and wealth. But actually it's nothing like that. Actually it's mentioned, so my friend was saying, he was quite spiritual, because when you actually add element of spirituality in your life, then you have knowledge of where happiness lies, okay? So then he says, when you have knowledge, then you know where to seek for happiness. Random cards? Yeah? Random cards? I want you to say stop. Wherever you want. I'm doing this slowly. Say stop.
Stop.
Yeah? Or move on.
Stop there.
Are they cards? You guys are just so easy, please. It's fluid. It's not fluid, okay? Because you have the knowledge now. Say stop wherever you want.
Stop.
Yeah? We'll move on.
Yeah.
Okay. Was that your part?
No way.
It gets better. Shall we make it better? Right? Once you know the knowledge of where to find happiness, you can actually teach others to find the happiness. So pick anyone in the room, and then we'll try and
Yeah, you.
No. Okay, we'll try it. Okay, no, just from there. Just say stop, and I'm going to get her to stop. Pick your card, right? Say stop.
Stop.
Yeah? We'll move on.
That's it. Stop.
But one thing is you gotta understand, my friend told me that, JD, happiness is nothing to do with external. It's always within you, it's an inside job. Because when you shift your consciousness, alright, check this out, right? Right now your consciousness is shifted. Random cards? Can you see that? But when you shift your consciousness, guess what happens?
No! Oh, wait, what? Oh, my name.
What is success? What is happiness?
Success is...
Yeah, it could be one, just let's not general.
Okay. Success is getting what you want. Happiness is wanting what you get.
Wow, we're getting too technical. Alright, listen guys. What I want to know. Thank you, that's very insightful. I just want to know, I just want to keep it real. What gives you happiness and what gives you success? What is success, what is happiness? Let's just jot it down. Okay, so studies, yeah? Doing well in your education. Thank you. What else? Relationships give you good it's happiness, success, great. Anything else? Really? What were you discussing, by the way? Even if it's simple things like Arsenal winning the Premier League. This is not me. This is an example. Yes, thank you. Yes.
We were just discussing that to be happy is to be genuinely fulfilled and just content with life.
Good. Just being content in life is happiness and success. Great. Thank you. What else? If today someone said that you can have anything in life for you to be happy and successful, what would you ask for? Yes.
Peace of mind.
Okay, so you want peace of mind. Great. Thank you. Anything else? Like anything. We'll give you anything you want. Lads? Health. Okay, good. Good health. Very important.
Stability.
You want stability in life? Excellent. What else? Yes.
Yes, always improving on yourself.
Sorry?
Always improving on yourself.
Okay, self-development, improving, growing, right? Good. Anything else?
Knowledge.
Okay, wisdom, knowledge. We're always looking for that. If I have that, I'll be happy and successful. Someone have their hand up over here? Yes.
Money.
Money, yeah. Let's be real now. Yeah, you want money? I'll give you a blank. Just get a blank piece of paper. Write mediocre down. Turn it into 8 parts. Flip it over, and you get money. All right. So money gives you happiness and success. True. Good. Bring it on. What else? Yes, sorry.
I don't think this is like an answer, but maybe it's like an illusion or something, because there's not really one definition of happiness or success. Maybe.
Right now, I just want to know, like, if something is given to you or something happens to you, you're happy. I want to know what is that thing or situation. Yes.
I think, I don't have to put it in another word, but I guess finding something that gives you momentum, like something you're passionate about.
Okay.
Doing, so say, your job should be something that you actually care about rather than...
Passionate hobby
Yeah.
or career? Passionate career, perhaps. Okay, good. Thank you.
Comfort.
What was that?
Comfort.
Comfort.
Yeah.
Yeah, comfort. Gives you, yeah, if you comfort, you're chilling, good Wi-Fi, good speed, that's good. I'm happy, I've got good Wi-Fi. What else? Even little things.
To be able to travel and see places.
Yeah, good. Exploring life, adventures in life, right? What else? What do students always like doing?
Drink.
So I didn't say drink and drugs, but yeah, sometimes people think intoxication actually does give them happiness and the buzz that they're seeking for, they think intoxicant can give. Good. Few more. What do students like doing? We'll put down study, but I'm not quite sure if that's what usually happens. Yes. Doing well in exams, good, but just standard stuff that students love doing.
Society.
Society. Yeah. Okay. Society. What else? Socializing. Good. What else? Thank you. That's like simple things. Food. Food. Right. Food gives you happiness. If you have food, you're happy. What else? Sleep. Okay. Good. Like but how much sleep do you guys need? Average. 5 hours. But you have 5 hours. Yeah. Impressive. 6 hours. 7 hours. 8 hours. 9 hours. 10 hours. Unlimited. Right. Sleep is something that students always like. How many of you have 9 o'clock lectures? Do you actually go to it? In my first year, I did not go to any 9 o'clock lectures. You know what I used to do? And I'm not promoting this, but we used to sign in. You have to sign in. Those days we were still old school, so you have register. So you just text your mate, can you sign me in? And then he'll just sign me in. So ironically, I didn't go to any 9 o'clock lectures, but yet I had 100% attendance. You know? Anyways, I'm not proud of it. But yeah, okay, good, thank you. What stops you from achieving all these things? Okay, comfort. Sometimes when you're too comfortable, you just settle and then you don't progress. Thank you. Yes? Distractions. I mean, do you guys have loads of distractions in life? What are your distractions? Social media, right, of course. How many of you press refresh on your social media pages or Facebook or Instagram? Instagram have refresh? Obviously it shows I don't have Instagram, right? Okay, good. Distractions, social media, what else? Emotions also. So I just wonder what stops you from achieving all those things. Yes?
Maybe different other people's version of your happiness. So say like your parents or
Yeah.
kids. What they,
So rather than us defining happiness, we let other people define what happiness is for us, right? And this is like a vicious cycle, a trick we all fall into. So it's very important to become cautious of that. Thank you. Who else? Yes?
Fail.
What was that?
Fail.
Failing.
No, fail, like being scared.
Oh, fear. Fear. Okay, sorry. Fear. Okay, good. So fear is something that, you know, stops you from achieving what you want. Any last few points? Yes?
Ignorance.
Ignorance. Is ignorance bliss? No, it's a myth. Do not fall into that trap. Okay, ignorance is definitely not bliss. Yes?
Self-doubt.
Self-doubt, right? That happens. Especially when we start comparing ourselves with other people. Right? Like, who goes to Imperial? A lot of my friends went to Imperial. And they say it is super competitive. Isn't it? Like, even just, you know, sharing answers and helping each other is no-no, right? It's just me and, anyways, this was back in the days. I don't know if it still happens. But yeah, sometimes when you see someone achieve great things, you start questioning, you know, I'll never be this good. So self-doubt actually impedes your progress and growth in life. Thank you. Last few points. Lack of motivation. Okay, so lack of motivation.
Comfort. I guess like just like getting out of the comfort zone is like.
Yeah, what's that word that, like, I think we may be familiar with, begins with P?
Procrastination.
Oh, you guys know what that is? Procrastination. Good. That's interesting. When you want to procrastinate, when you have to study, you find out random things to do, which is not important, like cleaning the room, perhaps. I don't know. You know, things that is in your to-do list, but it's not so urgent. Good. All right. And the last thing I wanted to share with you guys is what emotions is left when your goals are not achieved.
Guilt.
You feel guilty. What else? Frustration. Guilt. Frustration. Anything else?
Anxiety.
Anxiety, which leads to what?
Depression.
Depression, stress, anxiety. Any other feelings?
Lost.
You feel lost, confused, lack of clarity. What else? You feel, yeah, of course. There'll be regret that I didn't do this. Yeah, you can just put a circle and then just shift it. It's fine, as long as we can see the distinction. Thank you. And last few points. And I'll tell you why we're doing this. Okay, good. That's fine. I think we're going on. Well, no, there was more, wasn't it? Like there's guilt, regret, depression, anxiety, stress, negativity. Is that right? Yeah? Okay, good. Alright, perfect. So why are we talking about this? The reason why we're talking about this is because, as we know, Bhagavad Gita, if we go to that slide, everyone knows what the Gita is? Yeah? Just quickly, what is a Gita? The Bhagavad Gita slide. What is a Gita? Thank you, thank you. Can we get a round of applause for what is a Gita? Bhagavad Gita is a conversation that takes place on a battlefield 5,000 years ago, right? This is a conversation between two personalities. Who are they? Arjuna and Krishna. Krishna representing a teacher, a friend, or in this text also God. Arjuna represents who? His student. But who does he represent? He's a warrior, but he represents all of us. Arjuna is on a journey where he's looking for happiness and success. Okay? He's on a journey, but this battlefield becomes the biggest turning point in Arjuna's life. Why? Because if we look at that list, you know the list of 8, that is all the things Arjuna had. Okay? Arjuna was looking for happiness and he was looking for success. And he got all of them. He was very intelligent. In fact, he was the smartest student in the Gurukul system back in the day. He was the best at what? What was his speciality? He was the greatest warrior, and specifically his speciality was archery, right? Bow and arrow. It's not the archery that we know in today's day and age where you just get a bow and shoot and that's it. Actually, he knew the science. By using mantras, he can create fire weapon, he can create water weapon, he can even create a weapon made from air. That's how powerful and advanced weaponry skills was back in the days. He was content in life. He controlled his mind. All right. It's mentioned that Arjuna was Godakesh. Like he didn't need sleep. He conquered sleep. Okay. He had great health. He was stable in life. He had loads of wisdom. He was the wealthiest man in the world. Why? Because his family ruled the entire world. Okay, the Pandavas. All right. He was very passionate at what he wanted to do. His life was blissful. But when you read the end of chapter 1 of the Gita, right, it shows that Arjuna had all of this, yet he was feeling all the negative emotions that we've written down over there. Arjuna was stressed, he was anxious, he was depressed, he was lost, he was confused, and he had no clarity of thought. And this became the turning point of Krishna's life, in Arjuna's life, and this is when Krishna now started giving him powerful wisdom. Okay? And Krishna basically, in summary, I'm going to actually quickly summarize, explains that things is not going to give you happiness. All these things is not going to give you happiness. You have to understand your state of consciousness. It's mentioned your happiness is actually dependent on the state of your consciousness that you're at. You have access to 5 levels of consciousness. Okay? And what are they? If we go to the next slide. The 5 levels of consciousness is called Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manamaya, Vijnanamaya, and Anandamaya. Okay, that's in Sanskrit. But just to simplify, first level of consciousness we have access to is the physical, the Anandamaya. That's all the things, anything physical, we think, if we're on that level of consciousness, we think anything that satisfies the body is going to make me happy. So things like food and sleep come in that category. Does that make sense? I mean, food and sleep gives us happiness, right? But does it give you contentment in life? No, you know there's something more. Then you go to the next level. So pranamaya is life force. This is where we know I'm a living being, I have to protect myself, I have people, relationship. This is happiness on an emotional and social level. Okay? So this is where we try to achieve things in life on that platform. If we think happiness is on social emotional level, we're just at level 2 of our consciousness. By the way, this is hierarchy. Level 3 is on a mental platform. Sense of achievement, sense of knowledge, sense of the idea that I can solve problems in life, that sense of happiness is far greater than food and sleep. Does that make sense? Yeah? That's level 3. Level 4 is on the intellectual platform. This is where spiritual journey begins. This is when you start understanding, actually, I'm not this body, right? And I'm nothing physical that I have right now. I'm something beyond that. Actually, I have a spiritual identity. So this is where your spiritual journey begins. Okay? And Anandamaya is the final stage of your consciousness where the hunger for your happiness and success can only be satisfied at that level. Does that make sense? Right? So if you look at society nowadays, which level of consciousness do they kind of just revolve around in general? In general, where do they kind of go up and down from? Which levels? Mainly the first and the second one. People are looking for happiness in there, sometimes on the 3rd level. But rarely people actually tap into Vijnana Anandamaya. And that's why you'll see, until we don't come onto that platform, your hunger for happiness and success will never be satisfied or fulfilled. So Krishna explains in the Gita, actually, only when we elevate our consciousness can we actually achieve what we're looking for. And when you're at that level of consciousness, you function to the optimum level in this world. So whether it's your studies, whether it's your career, whether it's your relationship, nothing external that's beyond your control phases you out. So you can stay focused, determined, and actually achieve what you're meant to achieve. Does that make sense? So it's a very powerful science that Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita, and it's something that we should also actually learn. So just a final message, I want to throw out to you guys that in your life, you're going to be tested. You will be tested because that's the nature of this world. The successful people are those who can actually know the signs of, in the testing time, they actually use that as an opportunity for growth. Okay? So your turning point in life, whenever you go through struggles, whenever you go through failures, whenever you have these turning points, understand there's actually an opportunity for you to elevate your consciousness, because that's when you can speed up the elevation of consciousness. And I want to leave with you guys with one last quote before we open for question and answer. Is when I look in this room, I see a bunch of intelligent people. I see the future leaders of this society. You know, you guys come from good upbringing, you've got good, background, good knowledge. You can actually do a lot of things in this world. But you know, one thing is going to stop you from achieving that. And that is being too comfortable, which will lead to procrastination. You know? There's a revolution needed in the world out there. It's a crazy world we're living out there. Right now, I work with a lot of people from different charities, especially people suffering from mental health. This is one of the biggest diseases we have in our society nowadays. How many people commit suicide because of physical pain? Hardly. Suicide is because of what? It's mental pain. So Krishna explains in the Gita, actually, one thing it teaches you in the Bhagavad Gita is it teaches you the most complex thing that exists in this world. What do you think the most complex thing in this world there is? What's the most complex thing that you know that exists in this world?
The mind.
The mind, right? The mind is the most complex thing in the world out there. But it's interesting, how many times have we been taught to understand how our mind functions? Have you been taught that? Never. So no wonder we're so dysfunctional in this world. So Krishna teaches you the basics. Now, what is your mind? Are you your mind? You know, how can you re-engineer your mind so you can actually become an instrument in bringing happiness to others? Like that. So I want to leave you with a quote before we open for a short question and answer. It's that life begins at the end of your comfort zone. Okay, let that be your meditation. Because like I said, like you guys' situation is great, materially speaking, and it's so easy to get into comfortable lifestyle. You know, but you are actually born to do something greater than just having a comfortable life. So I want to thank you for your time and your participation. It's great for me when I meet like young, enthusiastic people. I learn a lot. You know, your inquisitiveness fans my curiosity and inquisitiveness as well. So I want to actually express my gratitude. I hope that was useful. What you're looking for, only the source can provide. And really, your real happiness and success come from exchange of pure, unconditional love, which Krishna provides. So the whole purpose of meditation and yoga is to elevate your consciousness. And one of the best techniques that we use for elevating our consciousness is mantra meditation. Sound is a very powerful tool that our tradition teaches us that by just using sound vibration, you can actually elevate your consciousness. In fact, if you look at your life, it's mentioned that whoever you are today is because of the sounds you've received in the past. When you're around a lot of positive people, what do you think will happen to you? You become positive. You will actually take on those traits. When you hang around with negative people, what do you think will happen? It's the sound that you take in. So similarly, just like material sound can elevate your consciousness or degrade it, spiritual sound can tap into your real self, your true self, where you can actually tap into a lot of your hidden potentials. Like that. Is that okay? Does that answer your question?
Yeah, a little bit, but
You can.
so I guess just to clarify then, it is something that you can kind of elevate yourself to, but can you do them over different periods of time?
Yes, so when you achieve Anandamaya, all the others get fulfilled automatically. So it's not that you have to go from one stage to the next, you can jump. Does that make sense? The more we practice spirituality, the more you actually fulfill all the other needs. Right? Like you know, sometimes because you know that your happiness is not dependent on food, you just eat enough food that will maintain the body. You won't overindulge because your happiness is coming from somewhere else. Does that make sense? Yeah? Because your source of happiness is something else, you know you got the higher taste. That's why you will actually, all this stuff will just remain basic and you'll tap into what's actually important. Alright. Okay, so I think time's up. What? So yeah, so I'll give it back to the organizers and then we can go right on time.